Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all here in this session at TNB Academy. For today's webinar, we are glad to have Mr. Ajay Bajpai with us as the guest speaker. Today, we all will be enlightened by his sheer knowledge and he will be sharing his thoughts on the topic consultation and participation of workers, which is covered under clause 5.4 of ISO 45001 standard. Mr. Ajay Bajpai has audited over 100 organizations for ISO 45001 standard. Our distinguished speaker, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, has done his bachelor's in engineering in metallurgy stream. He is also a lead auditor in ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, 37001, 22000, 27001, 13485, 22301, and 50001 standards respectively. He has an industrial experience of around 38 plus years in field of manufacturing, quality control, quality assurance, design services and technical testing. He has been imparting training to a number of organizations, entrepreneurs and individuals on various topics related to ISO terminologies and how ISO standards are implemented within organizations. It was just a brief introduction of our guest speaker today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ajay Bajpai. I may request Mr. Ajay Bajpai now to please take over and start the webinar.
Thank you, Apurv, and I welcome all the team members who have taken out time to join this meeting and the discussion. This is a subject which is very important with respect to the actual results coming from the standard ISO 45001. You see, the standard is very clear, particularly from the last revisions, that the consultation and participation of workers is important and is the only thing, is the only key point which will bring results when we talk of the improvements and implementation is becoming effectiveness. I normally give a short this thing to the subject, so I will say CPW is simply a documentation. Many organizations, many consultants, I think this is something very typical, very critical, because in our experience of so many years, we have found this area a little weak. In the sense, from the documentation point of view, from the implementation point of view, and more so from the internal audit and external audit points of view, because a lot of report review is being done at our end in our office and by our witness auditors and our board. So we find a lot of weaknesses into this area. There there are many reasons for that, because for last many years into the manufacturing sector and in the office setups, because when we talk of OSAS 45001, this is not only into manufacturing sector, it is almost in every walk of the life. Wherever we are, safety is a great area of concern. If we can keep safe ourselves and our co-workers, our team members, our auditors, our clients, our training team, in our office, in our house, anywhere, in the colonies, because there has been colonies which also have certified. There were few colonies which has been for EMS and OSAS certification. So that is why I say that it is applicable everywhere. Wherever the human being, the property is there, they need to be safeguarded. So they have not been taken into that particular spirit because of the missing factor of consultation and participation of workers. I always say as applicable. Who is a worker? That is very important to understand. Anybody who is performing any activity can be called a worker. When we are into an office situation, we are all working in the office, because OSAS is for the safety of the operation when we are working into the organization, office or manufacturing setup, whatever is the situation, wherever we are walking through. When we are certifying a train, train is running. When we are certifying a aircraft, aircraft is running, passengers are traveling. So all of them have to remain safe as per the scope of the certification. We always focus on the scope of certification, which may be limited, which may be too wide, it may be unlimited depending upon how the auditors are going to report and perform the audit, and finally what they recommend for. So this consultation with the workers has been found weak. That is why the standard has been, talking of it for a couple of years, and they say that we need to consult the workers. The workers means the person who is delivering the results at the ground level, who is working onto the shop floor, who is working in the office, who is cleaning the premises, who is doing a maybe in the office situation, dusting and dirt cleaning job in the operation. So everything has to be made safe. How he will make safe? If he is consulted, then only he will give views and he can make safe. Then he should participate. So consulting is one part. Second is participate. We have taken views of the workers, views of the operators. That's fine, and we have developed some documentation for the CPW clause 5.4. But then again, are they participating into the implementation? We have developed a flow chart, we have developed a work instructions, we have displayed a process, that this is the process flow chart for the drilling, this is the process flow chart for the welding, or this is the process flow chart of the cooking in a hotel for a particular variety of the dish of the chicken. But then, are they participating into this activity? That is very important, and that is what, if we can demonstrate, develop, and can verify, then this clause is really implemented and the benefits are seen out of it. Clause 5.4 CPW is very much linked with the initial review and planning for various other standards. Normal standards which go for IMS are 91445 today in the global situation, but there can be many more standards applicable. There can be FSMS also, and so many other standards can be there which can make it a IMS documentation and certification. So that is the point when we are initially reviewing, when we are conducting a gap analysis, or when we are committing a initial environment review for that matter, or when the HERA initial study is being done. That is the time we need to understand and involve the linkages to the participation and consultation of the workers. If we can do that well, then the whole documentation, the whole planning of the documentation structure, defining of the responsibilities and authorities, including workers and operators, will make a system which will be giving real benefits to the organization. It is also linked with many clauses as are listed 4.2, 5.2, and up to 10.2, 10.3 improvement finally. It is linked to various clauses, various departments, various functions, because workers, operators, we are everywhere in the organization. And if we are participating and our views are given respect and we are consulted appropriately into decision making, then CPW goes on very well. And finally, it is linked with the safety of all human beings, and to that extent, the property also in the workplace globally. Wherever we travel, wherever we go, we need to be safe, and we need to ensure that we can contribute to the safety of others, and so on. So, this is the introduction part of the CPW, consultation and participation of workers. Now we go to the desired results. Why we are doing this exercise and what are we expecting out of it? Okay, at the end you can say, see, man can make and break. It is the operator, it is the worker. He can make a good system, he can implement a good system, and he only is responsible for breaking the system, you know. So we have to involve, we have to train, and we have to conceptually develop the thoughts, the brains, the minds, the working of a person. Yes, that CPW is an important activity for his safety, for the safety of his co-worker, for the safety of the visitors, for the safety of the auditors, for the safety of trainers, for the safety of all those who are present in the premises of the office or the manufacturing setup. So once this conceptual training is done, then we go on. This also gives an assurance to our 45,000 standard that yes, the results which thought, which are desired, which are intended can be achieved And this is a global requirement. ILO, International Labour Organization requirement, factory acts, whatever they required globally are incorporated into the CPW working, and we perform an act which is meeting the requirement of clause and the documentation. And finally, we also have to reduce all accidents. We have discussed it earlier also in 45,000 standards implementation. Whatever standards have accidents have taken place and near miss accidents which could have taken place, they can be implemented effectively by these implementers who are the workers, who are the operators. Sometimes the manager can be operator if there are only three persons in the company in the office. So the manager will be a worker in that kind of a situation. So concept we should understand that whosoever is implementing the standard requirement, whosoever is implementing the work instruction procedure as defined in CPW process, he is supposed to bring results at the ground level. He is supposed to implement the corrective action. If that happens and that goes on as a PDCA cycle and we follow the principles of management into that, then definitely the accidents are reduced, near miss are reduced, and so on. And then what happens? We are preventing and reducing the undesired effects, the unwanted, unsafe conditions globally. And the human resource and other resources are being safeguarded. So that's the whole thought. There can be few more desired results also from the customers, from the statutory and regulatory requirements and board, from the various government organizations, from the importers, exporters, from the transporters, handlers. They all is expecting a safe working environment, so that we always say when a worker, an operator or a visitor enters into our premises, he comes with two eyes, two hands, two ears, one head safe, and his body is safe. So it is our duty as an organization, as a CPW function, that when he goes out of our premises, he is going in the similar situation as he entered our organization. He is going safe again back to his office or work. Out of our premises, he is again moving safely. So this is the concept which we have to work upon with the help of operator and workers. So now we go to the planning part of it. So we have to plan the CPW effectively so that the results are seen and we can remove the barriers. There has been a lot of barriers into the implementation, lot of obstacles into the implementation, because uh, the concept has been in the earlier days that workers are workers, operators are operators. Their involvement was very limited. They were not allowed to enter the room of a manager. Manager was not talking to them. There had been a lot of gaps, particularly into ancient periods when the operations and all were held by states, jamidars, those kind of owners were there who were believing that we are the only one who can do, who can implement, who are the boss of everything. But slowly the situations are changing now. They have started changing once the ISO system implementation has come into picture after 1984 and so on. And after the formulation of OSAS, this has been respected more widely, and the ISO committee, IAF has also very much appreciated along with the accreditation boards, and they thought let us involve workers and operators so that the implementation is really done at the ground realities. The machines are having safe implementation done as per the work instruction and the plan. They are trained and these gaps are reduced. Also, it was thought that when an accident or something occurs, there has been a situation that the last one into the chain will be made the scapegoat. Means what do we do? Any accidents have taken place, all top guns, all top shots will be saved. The last person in the line, the chain the peon or the worker or the security guard or the last handler will be put to a law this thing, and he will put to legal situations because everybody else is fine. I mean, that is still keeps on happening up to some extent and situations. We are into a political environment also globally. So, but yes, the things are being minimized today as we are, moving forward, and the workers and the operators are given due respect now, as we have seen into the system for a couple of decades. That best of the suggestions always come from the bottom line, from the person who is performing the results. The quality circle concepts of Japan, and many situations, the FMEA, the APQP, PPAP, all those concepts have greatly involved operator and workers, because number one, they have given the best suggestions. Number two, they have been the best person to follow the instructions and guidelines because they were involved. Once they have been participating and they have been consulting, so the improvements have been coming as a natural process. So in future also, when we are developing the CPW system, we have to see that we can organize with the similar concept. Yes, that they are a part and parcel, are the four most important factor in line to implement the system and really get benefit out of the system, because they are the ones who are first prone to the accidents and incidences. So they should, if they are kept safe and secure, our performance of the organization will definitely improve. We will not have loss of manpower, man hours, and finally the money is saved. So after the good planning activity, we go to the action plan. Now we are implementing. We have reviewed the barriers, the problems, the issues of differences we have removed, and now we are implementing the CPW and related HERA plan, because these are very much related to our hazard identification and risk analysis. So we implement the actions, and then what we do, these implemented actions needs to be monitored. We develop lot of good actions, we make lot of good plans, but monitoring of these processes to optimize the safe working is the key word. If we can monitor the processes effectively, if we can monitor the work instruction, the processes, the flowcharts effectively, then the safe working will be optimized. Then what do? We keep on parallelly doing the analysis of unsafe condition. Once we document the CPW that and HERA, that is at the end of the process, we need to continuously do the analysis of unsafe conditions and processes. Why? Because the processes can be upgraded, manpower can be upgraded or downgraded at the same time, because some key persons have left and new team has joined the company, so they are not having that kind of competence. So if we are analyzing the situation on a continuous basis, and we keep on again involving the workers into the analysis mode. So the principle is analyze and improve. The more we analyze, more we improve. The more we analyze, more we consult, more we participate with the workers as a worker, along with the workers, more unsafe conditions are reduced and processes will become more and more safe. Then all this is normally initially or later on also developed into a chart or matrix of CPW, which is linked with the HERA and various acts. Into the CPW and the HERA activities, various legal requirements are very much applicable globally as per the requirement of the district, state, country, and tomorrow if you go to Moon and Venus, all this will be further applicable. So we have to understand, and these various charts and flow situations of matrices needs to be linked effectively. And we keep on, as we discussed earlier on the first one, the implementation of the action and analysis goes on as a ongoing process. So this is the action plan which we are moving on now. So then what happens? Now we are implementing the situations of earlier 3-4 slides which we have discussed. We are running various processes as per the plan and charts, and mock drills are being conducted, which we observe into the auditing situations. They are not bringing that good results because the consultation and participation of workers has been less, low, or minimum in some of the organizations. So lot of issues are raised, we raise NC's observation and so on, and then things improve, and system certification progress is on. But effectiveness can be enhanced when workers, operators are being consulted and participated into this mock drills or the emergency preparedness response checking. So if they are involved, they are implementing, and they are giving the real feedbacks of the drills. It can be a fire drill, it can be a slip drill, it can be a short circuit drill, but different kind of drills are being conducted by different organizations. So involve the workers, take their views, make them participate into the drills, take their feedbacks, and see that they are further giving suggestions and they are further giving inputs for the improvements, and the effectiveness of drills will definitely improve practically into the organization. Then what we do? We need to keep on updating the data in these various charts of ERA, EPR, CPW, aspect impact. They are all interrelated. No clause of standard is running, but specifically standalone. Most of the clauses are interlinked with some or the other clauses or functions of the organizations or individuals of consultation and participation. So the data updation is very important because we in audits see that process is going in a particular direction and data is showing some other trends. So if they mismatch, the results are not achieved to the extent which we desire. Some improvement will always be there when we are making the effort, but I always say there is a desired status of in expectation of the team, management, customers, statutory regulatory requirements, the boards, and the top management. Yes, that this is our expectation. So when these are updated, then expectations are met with almost to the requirement which they thought of. Then we conduct the correct, accurate, and precise calculation after implementation of the our documented system. So again, the correct data, correct calculation, precise calculations, not going by feelings. Yes, that worker was good. He might have given the good feedback, or he must have implemented that on the machine. He might have changed the chart. That does not work. The only thing which works is the right calculation, right information, right results in front of us when we are moving forward. Once we have the right calculations done, then we have the facts and figures, the data is available, and while doing this exercise, we need to involve the workers and operators because they are the ones who are filling the charts, they are filling the forms, they are filling the drill activities, they are making a lot of the data filling into the log sheets, logbook, registers. So if they are involved into this process, then the facts and figures are there to demonstrate that our CPW process is working efficiently, and yes, improvement are seen on the ground level. So that's what is the key into the implementation part. Now we go finally to the analysis and what future and further actions we can do. We need to keep on studying these charts, these processes, these forms, these matrices on a continuous way. PDCA implementation, continual improvement thoughts, and what is very important, the involvement of workers. Many organizations will say safety committees or the improvements committees or the accident removal committees, the near miss removing committees or the groups. Name is not important. Whatever the name the organization gives, as an auditor, we need to accept that, move into the auditing with that. But the key is that involvement of workers into these committees and the charts and the small group activities and cross-functional teams is very important. And once they are involved, then the implementation will be very simple. With their involvement and participation, the implementation becomes simple, and we don't have to, keep on asking the team again and again. Once they are involved, means they will give the results. And again, we have the lot of data generated. So that data is useful only when we do the monitoring of the data and we do the analysis of data by utilization and by understanding various kinds of data analysis techniques, SPC, SQC, cause and effect diagram, different kinds of charts. And today there are various softwares available. I myself get a lot of calls and mails that yes sir, we are having a software which will document, implement, and show the trends straight away for the implementation of CPW or emergency preparedness or OSA system as a whole. So we know what are the trends, and the software also gives us the corrective and maybe the preventive actions and root cause analysis kinds of things, which will be straight away come onto our desktop and printing, so that we know what actions to be taken. Once the system is on, we are analyzing the system. So any system, we have been believing for last couple of decades that unless these things are subject to good checking, good monitoring, and good internal audit system, the system does not work, system does not run. Into the best of the organizations, we have seen if internal auditing has been weak, then the improvement have become standstill. you know Improvements, when I say standstill, they have not improved upon further. Others have gone beyond them because others have implemented the system. Many of the quality gurus globally into big conferences have said that it is the internal auditing system which can make the organization sustainable and improve further. And this internal auditing of CPW function has been found weak in many organizations because it has not been conducted by trained and qualified workers and operators, maybe directly by them or by involving into them into the audit team of the internal audit, because they know where the shoe pinches. So if they are involved into the internal auditing, and when the internal audit NCs are raised, they are the persons who are going to finally implement the corrective actions. So if they are involved, then the improvements will come automatically, and internal audit will definitely point out and highlight the key points which are weakness point into the system, and they are then put as the analysis, and internal audit analysis is done, put to the management team, put to the safety team, put to the safety committees, and they take effective corrective actions by getting into the root cause. The root cause is lying where? Into the working spot of the workers, operators, and the working managers. So they are the ones who will be implementing the corrective action plans, and they are the one who will highlight us if the corrective action plans are effective or not. Once we have this analysis of the internal audit results into our hand, then what do? We go for a conduct of review meeting of management. The key persons should be involved and should be present into these meetings. Many of the organizations meeting we have seen, for the namesake, they have said yes, top management is there, the managers are there, but when we talk of where is the safety committee team member, where is the safety committee representative, where are the workers representative? We by experience we know, even if we documented, it has not happened. So we pick up one or two workers, them that yes, if you want improvement into this system, please start involving them. Not just write the names of theirs, involve them, consult them, then develop the documentation. That is why into the first slide I said, please involve and take them into the confidence that this is for them. You know, the safety is for everybody and more so for them, because they are the ones who are going to suffer if something wrong goes into the machines and process, or by because of the wrong system implementation. So once they are involved into the meetings, once they are participating and safety committee results are discussed in details into the minutes of meeting onto the ground level, and they are giving suggestions, they are supporting the meeting, and then the results of their participation is really seen, and then they also feel yes, they are part and parcel of this organization with respect to this safety concept, safety documentation, safety implementation, risk calculations, and then they will be automatically moving forward, and results will be better and better every day. It will be on a continual improvement path. Once we do this meeting, then what happens? Many organizations will conduct this very good meeting and they put into the files and folders and forget it. So no good doing that unless we implement and monitor further the actions which have been discussed, decided, responsibility decided, resource identified, design plans changes, moving plan changes. Unless all this is being implemented and monitored further by the safety team, safety committees, by the coordinators of management, by the top management in one way or the other. Every organization has got their own method of monitoring. So they have the Gamba, they have got walk-in views, they have got walk-in discussions, they have got diary system, they have got folder review, file review systems, they have got software review updation systems. Of course, with the help and support of the workers and operators and their involvement and in consultation with them. Anything and everything cannot be implemented unless the ground level team is involved. To further implementation and monitoring is the key to further improvement of the system. So improvement should be as a concept of the OSAS and CPW, and it should be taken care by the entire team of the management, specifically with respect to this clause by workers and operators. Their concept on improvement, PDCA, continual improvement, rejections control, productivity improvement should be brought very, very clearly when we start the initial training from the second slide which we discussed. So they should be trained on this concept. If they are trained, they know their job and their responsibility and their involvement into the improvement of the consultation and participation function, then the improvement will come automatically. So I would like to conclude now that this function is very, very key. Functions globally into all sort of organization, and the best of the suggestions and implementation are done by the workers, operators, and key working managers, whatever may be the situation. So consult them for all safety aspects, for all to that extent quality objectives, the risk and risk chart implementation, following the emergency preparedness plan, and then the improvement are natural. So natural process of improvement goes through the consultation and participation of workers and operators. So let's go on and see that the globe is becoming more and more safe place to stay. Thank you very much. So if you have some questions, we can go from the first slide maybe. Apurva and team members, Rishabh, Suryakant and Arun, you can ask some questions.
Any of the participants has any questions, they can now please ask.
No, sir, I don't have any question. Thank you. Hello, sir.
Yes, Suryakant.
So, what are the challenges of employee involvement?
Challenges of employee employment are, if you look at it, it is very simple, but it is very critical also, because most of the managements where the organization is small particularly, they are not involving the workers and operators and the other team members. They think they have the best knowledge and they can make all the decisions and they can implement everything. So that conceptual changes are happening now, but still they are a challenge. In large organization, we have, as we discussed, we have lot of, cross-functional situations. So their involvement sometimes is becoming weak. They are not able to reach the situation where they can give suggestions, or where they can be involved. So these are the challenges. Sometimes the language, sometimes the qualification becomes a challenge. So that is a problem sometimes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Arun, any question you have?
Thing I wanted to say, with the maximum participation of workers and operators or any employee, we can have a plan to make a standard work possible, and passing on the information to the newcomers who are not educated. This is also a gain of this.
Sure. Any other question? Ajit, any question? Okay, so if no questions are there, this subject, this topic, this clause is completed from my side. You can always have more question through Apurv and through our academy website. So now it is back to Apurv. Thank you.
So we can now come to the conclusion of this particular session. I would say that I do not find words in expressing that how fruitful this session was for all of us. I personally have been helped a lot in gaining knowledge about today's topic. I can also say with much confidence that our participants must have enjoyed the context of today's webinar, and it will definitely add value to their expertise and domain of work as well. I thank you, Mr. Ajay Bajpai, from the bottom of my heart on behalf of TNB Academy for giving your valuable time and accepting our invitation to be the guest speaker for today. I also thank all the participants for taking out time from their schedule and joining us in the webinar today. As said by Mr. Ajay Bajpai, if you have any more questions, maybe later on, you can definitely put those questions in the comment section of this particular video on our YouTube channel, and we will be really happy answering them. I hope to see you all again soon. Wish you all best of luck for all of your future endeavors on behalf of TNB Academy. Thank you once again. I request all the participants now to please leave the meeting. Thank you.